stupid referees, terrible performance, scrappy goal, Ten Hag in, and we got the win. Now I want to make it very clear: the performance today was dismal. We've had terrible performances for how long, and it's actually a problem. But the most important thing about today was the 3 points, and in almost anything in life, when you're going badly, all you need is just a win. All you need is just something to use as motivation to gain momentum. There's been a lot of talk about Ten Hag and the players and blah 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 this week, and rightfully so. We need to just win. That win was so important just to get some confidence, and we have to now start trying to build off of that and start trying to build good performances. The first thing I want to jump into is obviously going to be the refereeing decision. I'm sick and tired of referees screwing us over every single game. We saw last time against Man City some silly little touch and Rodrigo's scuba diving. Now I want people to understand that. I understand why they've tried to disallow it, everyone does, but it's just simply wrong. You've seen goals against. I mean, people will bring up Akanji's one with Man City, and rightfully so again, but obviously the refereeing body did apologise for that. I guarantee they're not going to apologise for anything today. Our disallowed goal today was miles more harsh, was miles more clearly not supposed to be disallowed than Akanji's. That one was such a clear infringement. Ours today was clearly not. We should have been 1-0 up at 8 minutes in. People say Harry Maguire was impeding the play. Are you dumb? Use always if he's impeding the goalkeeper's side of view, which he has nothing to do with in this case. Whether or not Harry Maguire was onside or offside has no difference about what that defender was going to do. That defender was never going to get to that ball. And it was not even as if the defender was stopping Garnacho from scoring, he was stopping Garnacho from getting an assist. And VAR is supposed to be there to rule out clear and obvious errors from the referee. They they looked hard for that. They looked so hard to get that decision. They first checked if Garnacho was offside. They were lining up the lines, everything, nothing, couldn't get that. Checked if is McTominay offside, lining up the lines, everything, they couldn't get that. So they checked Harry Maguire, didn't even get the goal, didn't even get the assist. Why are you even considering him when he's not even infringing the goalkeeper, not even infringing the defender who's marking McTominay, infringing the defender who's marking him? Huh? Doesn't make any sense because it's apparently a subjective one that's unclear, and if it's unclear, you go with the decision given on the pitch. Because that is not a clear and obvious error. Hopefully some of these refereeing bodies get some sort of logic drilled into their brains, and because I don't understand how daft you can be. Like, it doesn't take like a lot of IQ. You don't need a freaking uni degree to be a referee. It's not that hard. I can see from up here, okay, that's clearly not on offside. Or I can see, okay, Bruno at the end of the game clearly didn't win the ball when he was tackling Paulinho, and they're having a joke about it. It's so stupid. Like, how can you be that daft? I don't understand. Now, one thing I did like in this game, and we saw it only a few number of times in the first half, very early on, was these little movements. So let's say in this case, and Anthony did this quite well, McTominay did this quite well. They'd receive the ball here, and the Fulham players would go press Anthony. And what Anthony would do is he would quickly get that ball. So obviously he receives the ball and nice and quickly shifts it onto the McTominay there. And then McTominay get pressed. And then he would quickly shift it on to Bruno, or Hoyland make sometimes a run into that area there to pick up that ball. A lot of these little quick flicks and passes to transition from one side to the other. Usually we ended up with Garnacho on one side. A lot of those were quite nice, and we didn't use them effectively, but we used them to get into a chance to do something. If you get what I'm trying to say, we used them to get into a chance where we could potentially hit Fulham on a transition or try and get a goal somehow. Those lovely flicks were good and have really helped build up the. We clearly now wants to see some sort of transition football, uh, and that's a good way to do it. Now the downside is that that's all we had on our locker. We had nothing else. All we had was kick the ball up the field, give possession away, press, and hope we can tackle them and score a goal. That's it. Now, for any top team, that cannot be the only thing that you have to do, that you can do. You have to be able to play well on the ball. You have to be able to somehow break down opponents. Because all we end up seeing in this game is just Maguire on the ball, looking, playing that long ball out to Garnacho. Almost every single time. Ericsson tried it a couple times. His ones were so telegraphed, written in the sky. You know, the player saw it coming from a mile away. We need to improve on breaking down the opposition, and the way we do that, I've said it before, is with quickly coming into position, making some quick drop in movements to collect the ball, and then shifting that ball into wider areas or into players who can then shift it on into wider areas. Something like that. Quick passing football, and you do that by making a quick dart into gap, holding your position, making a quick dart into an open space, and then shifting the ball left and right. We have no one in the team who can seem to do that. I'm actually going to give credit to Maguire because he looks like the only one who seems to be able to play that line breaking pass. What I mean by that is, in let's say a situation like as on the screen now, he's the only one who can just seem to just play that ball there into between the players, split them, and get the ball into a good space by splitting defenders, taking 2-3 players out of the game, and someone in the final third can receive the ball. He's the only one who can do that. We need a midfielder who can do that. It cannot be Harry Maguire, who's the only player in our whole squad that knows how to do that, because Harry Maguire has weaknesses in his game. He should not really be a starter for Man United. But if no one else can play that kind of pass, how the hell are we going to break down teams? There's no other way. And even if Harry Maguire is the only one who can do it, he maybe plays that pass once in a game. We need a midfielder who's going to play that pass every single 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, always trying to look for that pass. As said in the previous video, we miss having the Man Utd in the team. He is the perfect guy at making those kind of passes and dictating and running the game. Someone who we lack in the team desperately. We need him back. We need someone. Obviously, people are not going to want him back. He's 35. I understand that, but we need someone of that caliber, someone of that style of play who can do that. The only thing that I'm seeing that we're doing is long balls, switching out the passings from Maguire usually out to the wingers, and just booting the ball up the pitch from goal kick and hoping, we can win back the ball through a press and try and score a goal from a counter press. And that's kind of what we did in our goal. Pilistri harassed their defenders, got a lucky bounce back from Martial, Paulinho terrible clearance, bouncing around with Bruno Fernandes poor pass, and then McTominay bouncing around with him and Pilistri. Then Bruno getting a shot off and keeper fumbles the ball. That can't be our only way of scoring goals, and yesterday is better than nothing. And it's better than what we've seen in the past, but we have to start building something. We have to start working on the training pitch. We cannot just wait until the end of the season to try something and create something new for the team. We have to start working now. I'm just going to go straight into the player ratings because there's nothing else I can say. Anana probably a 6 because he made a couple good saves, but they were all they were saves he should be making. Ambasaka probably a 5.5. Didn't really offer anything in the final third. A couple sus moments defensively, but he defended them well. He defended them okay in the end. Maguire 6.5, made some good blocks, good tackles, good headers, a couple of good passes, steady performance. Evans probably a 5.5, steady as well, but just looked like he wasn't really didn't really suit the game. Dallo probably 6.5, a bit of an underrated performance. Had a defended well and attacked quite well as well. Tomlin, I'll give him a 6 because of those little touches and plays. Hopefully, I want to see him in the future getting more involved. Ericsson probably a 5. His passing was a bit telegraphed, a bit scripted. Could do better. Bruno probably a 7. He had a poor performance, I'm not going to lie, but the goal is always what the most important is. Anthony, I'm a big fan of him, but today was quite poor. Again, some of those good flicks were nice, but he didn't really do anything else other than that. Garnacho a 6, a tough game for him, but he looked promising. He looked like our only exciting winger. Definitely looks better than Rashford in this moment of time. Hoyland a 5, not his fault, no service. Pelistri a 6.5. I'm going to give him an extra half point because of the involvement in the goal. Mount probably a 5.5. I need to see better from him. Martial probably a 6. I don't know why he didn't come earlier. I don't know why we took him off. Why we took off Hoyland to bring him on. He should have played with Hoyland. Overall, pretty average, like poor, like dull, dismal performances. No one played awfully. No one made too many bad mistakes, but the whole game was quite poor in general. We're still making the same issues. The same fundamentals are still wrong. Hopefully, we can pattern up, fix them up, and move on well. In the next game, I want to see more progress in the way we're playing, better football. Eric Ten Hag is supposed to be a tactical mastermind, and we need to now start seeing that on the pitch.